I have 120 waste pool maps ready to go, 40 in here, 40 in here, and another 40 in here. And we are going to compare the Blight Scarab of Bounty. That is supposed to have a 20% chance to open up a chest again, and it can stack up to 2 for a chance of 40%. So in this video, I'm going to, well, test that out a little bit with arguably a small sample size, but it hopefully should give us an indication to how effective this scarab actually is, and if it's coming close to those 20/40% extra chance. There were some thoughts out there online on Reddit and Twitch chats that the scarab is not as effective as it should be, so I wanted to give it a go, see what it's like. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and have a lot of blight farms here. We'll see how long that takes, hopefully not too long. The maps itself are all quality up to 20% and chaos orb to 75 to 85% quantity, just so that we have like a somewhat even playing field here in terms of like how many lanes and chests and how many oils we get out of the chests. But otherwise, the map mods, there's nothing special about it, just making sure that my build can run them, meaning I need the regen. So if I cannot regen, then I cannot run the map. That would be kind of bad on a Righteous Fire build. And I'm also making sure that there's not the action speed modifier isn't on there and the stun modifier isn't on there. That is pretty much all there is to it. You can find the regex down in the description as well. And I will keep track of everything in this handy dandy little spreadsheet. Let me just quickly pull that up. There we have it. I'm going to put everything in here in terms of how many blights I have succeeded in the first place, how many chests I have opened, what is the maximum number of openings, and so on and so forth. That should be the main interesting information here. I'm going to run this on T40 maps simply because, well, I don't have my third or fourth voidstone yet, so waste pool is only at T14, but that shouldn't really make much of a difference. T13 is the minimum level for golden oil, so that's all that really matters here. And we want to test the Blight Scarab of Bounty for a chance to opening again, and map tier shouldn't make a difference for that. Although it will be kind of interesting to try that out too, if map tier makes a difference in that regard, but I highly doubt it. How am I going to run the maps? I'm not going to put on any influence, just so that the auto mods are not going to influence anything in terms of the lanes, how many chests there are, and so on and so forth. Just keeping that to like a consistent level, even though it's gonna miss out a little bit on some extra currency there, but that's okay. We should get a lot of currency from the oils. And in terms of the atlas, I'm going to run a pretty standard Blight atlas. There's also some beyond on here, and of course the Searing Exile nodes, but they are not going to be of any use. But in terms of the Blight nodes, we're going for the distilled fungus, of course, to get jewelry items. We go to Blight Spawn to get extractors and the chance for a higher oil tier. Sturdy construction just makes life a little bit easier and gives you a little bit more of a buffer. And then, of course, we want the whole epidemiology wheel, so that we get some extra chance for lanes and chests. Or I think only just chest. Yeah, chance for an extra chest and variety of items is lucky, so that's pretty nice as well. Of course, we want the fungal bloom to get our blight on the map in the first place. And then down here, spores in the wind. Doesn't do anything for us, but the 2 nodes behind it, the reduced tower building cost, is pretty nice to have too, to just spam towers and have an easier life overall. But yeah, that's what I'm going to run. You can find a link to this atlas in the description as well. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, run those maps, and I will see you in just a second. Ah! Wow! Okay. Nice. Okay, 120 waste pool maps and a fresh t-shirt later, we have all the data, all the results are in, and I think overall it's looking pretty good. If I'm looking just at my tabs here where I collected everything, you know, first tab looks kind of decent. Second tab already has a lot more oils in there and pretty much the same amount of lighted maps. And then the third tab is again a lot more oils and a whole lot of more maps. And that is definitely very interesting. But let's have a look at the spreadsheet and the data itself to see what's really going on and if the Scarab is behaving as intended. So if we pull up the handy dandy little spreadsheet right here, then you can see that I have listed how many times I have attempted a blight encounter in those maps. It's 120 in total, 40 per tier. And I luckily succeeded all of them. And then I also counted how many chests were there. And that is already taking a little bit of time. And then I also counted how often did I open those chests. And that is getting annoying pretty quickly, but for science. Anyway, based on that data, you can then calculate how effective was that Scarab for reopening chests. And for just applying one Blight Scarab of Bounty, we come up to effectiveness of 124%. And that is already kind of interesting because you only get a 20% chance to reopen a chest. And then that makes you wonder a little bit, why is it 124 now? What's going on there? And the reason is that you get those 20% chance to reopen a chest every single time. Meaning that if you have already reopened a chest one time, you still get that 20% chance to reopen it again. So it can happen 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Probably infinite number of times if you are really, really lucky, but that is also highly, highly unlikely. And so for one Blight Scarab of Bounty, I came up to a maximum of 4 openings, and then for 2 applied Scarabs, I came up to a maximum of 7. I don't know if I have ever had more than 7 in previous sessions. Sometimes you just don't count and just click wildly on everything that isn't opened yet. So that's always fun. And also a lot quicker than counting everything. But yeah, with 2 applied Scarabs, we come to an effectiveness of 153%. And that is already pretty good. I mean, you get 50% more chests of your blight encounters, and I think that is definitely a lot. And while yes, this is a small sample size, it probably more or less confirms or gives a highly strong recommendation that the Blight Scarab is working as intended when it comes to just opening chests. Whether or not that is worth for the loot is a little bit of a different story. So if I reveal the per loot breakdown here, then we can take a look at how many maps did I drop, blighted maps from those chests, how many extractors did I get, and how many oils overall did I get from those blight chests. And let's start at the bottom with the oils. That is the most common loot from blight chests. And then you can see I had almost 1000 oils for 0 scarabs applied, about 1200 for 1 scarab, and then over 1500 for 2 scarabs. So that brings us also to 122%, 157% of effectiveness. So that is pretty much in line with the chest openings itself. Now in my test run, I didn't really get many more extractors when I had 2 of those scarabs on compared to no scarabs. That is a little bit of bad RNG right there. But then on the flip side, I got really, really lucky on those blighted maps drops and got twice as many with 2 scarabs applied compared to no scarabs. And you can easily explain those numbers now with the small sample size that I had here of, well, 40 maps. That's not necessarily a lot, and the layers of RNG that we are adding. So it's only a 10% chance to get an extractor from a blight chest, and obviously that is a very small chance. And if you just get a little bit unlucky here, then yeah, you have this result of not many more extractors. But then for blighted maps, it's I think on the atlas, what is it? Blight chests in your maps have 80% more chance to contain blighted maps. Obviously that is a very high value of RNG. There's also some increased chance somewhere right here. With those 4 nodes you get 20% increased chance to contain blighted maps. So many layers of RNG right here, and that is resulting in, well, pretty much twice as many blighted maps with 2 scarabs applied, but then 1 scarab had basically no difference. Yeah, and if we want to continue those RNG layers and go over to the oils, then you can really see the difference. I think if we're looking at the number of oils that dropped, then I think probably up until Indigo, it's kind of in line of what you would expect, even getting a little bit better here with 182%. But then it's starting to fall off really quick, and you see the low chances of getting those high tier oils, especially if you look at the silver and golden oils. Like I think the run without Scarabs was kind of what I would expect from a normal Blight farm. You get a decent number of opalescent oils, actually a somewhat good number of silver oils and and a few golden oils. But then with 1 extra Scarab applied, I got really lucky in that run and had 11 golden oils. That is pretty high for that number of maps. But then on the flip side, I only got 1 silver oil, so you win some, you lose some. In this case, I won more than I lost. But then if we look at the run with 2 Blight Scarab of Bounty applied, then we are suddenly looking at only 3 golden and 3 silver oils, even though we had like 50% more chests in the map that we opened. But on the other hand, opalescent oils are kind of in line again, and we have 150% there. And yeah, you can see those numbers are a little bit all over the place, and if you have a stricter loot filter that is hiding a lot of those low tier oils, then yeah, it's very possible that you get the impression that the Blight Scarab of Bounty is not working, and it has a very low chance of actually triggering, and it's broken in some way, when it's actually not. It is working as intended when it comes to just the number of opening chests, but then as you are stacking those layers of RNG, of having high tier oils in the first place, and then having this second RNG layer of upgrading to a higher oil tier from Blight Spawn, yeah, oils found in your maps have a 25% chance to be 1 tier higher. That is another layer of RNG, and so that's why you get all those varied numbers here at the end. I think if you would scale up the sample size to like hundreds of maps, then this would even out more, but I just simply don't really have the time to do that. I'm only one person, I have a full-time job, and believe it or not, sometimes I want to do something different than playing BoE, although that is pretty high on the list. And while it was definitely not the main focus of this experiment, I still went ahead and summed up all the oils and calculated the revenue. And if we do that by upgrading everything to crimson oils, and then going 3 chaos for crimson, 4C for black, 10C for opal, 30C for silver, and I think goldens are at 65 right now. Just based on those values, I got to 700 chaos for the first batch of maps, over 1000 for the second one, and then under 700 for the third one. Of course, that is very disappointing to see, but then again, I got pretty unlucky with the oils, I think. Yeah, that is RNG for you. That always happens in some farming sessions. Some are better, some are worse. And if I include all those maps that dropped, then suddenly the world looks a lot better again, and I can push up those profit numbers. Or I go ahead and run all those maps. That's a lot of maps. That's almost 200 blighted maps. That is... Alright, but that should be everything about those Blight Scarab of Bounties. I think they are definitely very valuable. I think... I don't know what the price currently is of them. Let me check real quick. Yeah, they're currently traded for 3 chaos a piece. I think that is worth using. But you definitely also have to pick up some lower tier oils, upgrade them, sell those. And the nice thing about those Scarabs is it doesn't just apply to the Blight reward lanes, but also the currency lanes, the essence lanes, all the jewelry lanes, the incubators, and so on and so forth. It applies to all types, so you get just more loot overall. And I think that is also something you should be considering. You can open a currency chest 5, 6, 7 times, and each time you have a chance for Divine Ops, for example. Might not happen more often, but might sometimes happen. I definitely had sessions where I got a golden oil in like opening number 5. So it definitely happens. I think they're good. They're also a lot of fun, except for the clicking. That is a lot of clicking. And what also is a lot of fun is gambling and PoE, and in this case we still have a lot of anointed jewelry that I need to, well, extract some oils from. I will do that at the end of the video. If you don't want to watch that, thank you for watching until this point, and I hope you learned something. I hope you are still enjoying the league. I mean, it only just started. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully you're still enjoying the league. Anyway, I hope I see you in the next video or stream. Until then, have a good time. Take care. Bye. All right. Right, first batch. What a beauty. Only one in this row. Kind of failed a little bit. That is nice. All right, next one. Oof. A little bit more unlucky. 2 clear oils in here. That's no good. Third tap. Ooh, ooh, oh, this is terrible. Oof, that was a rough run. That was a rough streak here, 5 in a row that didn't hit anything. Yeah, that's another level of RNG. But overall, not bad. That is